Everybody, welcome back to day 24 of the Advent Calendar series. As always, I'm Josh.
I'm Ross.
And we are almost done, folks. It's almost over. It's almost done. You're not going to get notifications about Advent Calendar stuff again for another year. But we have 2 beers to go. And we are going to kick this thing right off. As a reminder, I have got the Costco German Beer Advent Calendar. Ross has got the Three Cellars Advent Calendar from the wonderful Three Cellars shop here in Menominee Falls. So, Ross, Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas Eve.
What are you drinking tonight?
I'm excited about this one because it's actually coming from one of my favorite non-Wisconsin breweries. This is coming out of Revolution Brewing, which is in Chicago. And this one's called Fiskmas, which is a very funky name. So this is a red ale with ginger and orange peel. I'm very happy that they ended with a Christmas beer. I'm even more happy they didn't just throw a cinnamon into it to make it more Christmassy. Because I've had a lot of cinnamon lately. I think as we pointed out in yesterday's video, and I'm over it. I'm really excited about this one. I think the orange peel is going to add something nice. I think the ginger is nice and different. Being a red ale, which is not something that's normally done, also has me kind of excited. Let's get this in there. So, not surprisingly, it's got a reddish amber color to it. A little bit filtered and transparent, but looks pretty much exactly how you'd expect. Very interesting artwork on the can. But
yeah, Santa looks happy.
Festive.
He looks happy.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So, decent carbonation on the nose. So red ales tend to have a lot more hoppiness. I think you'd think they would, but there's definitely some hoppiness coming out of this one. I'm not really getting the ginger or the orange peel. Maybe a little citrus with the orange peel, but nothing like overpowering. Really, just you get the kind of that red ale punch with those hops and everything. So, all right, well, cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
That's super good. So the hops are definitely there in the nose. You get a little bit of bitterness in the mouth, on the palate, but the citrus of the orange peel really comes through as it really makes like a real full body, really kind of unique because you get the bitterness with like a citrus sweetness throughout it. I don't really get a ton of ginger, but it's really just the hops and the orange peel. It's really good. I really enjoy this. Probably like the Christmas style beers I've had throughout this. I think this has got to be right near the top. They're really like the ones that were supposed to be Christmas sales. Like this ranks right up there with I think the Foxtown Winter Warmer, which is very different because that was very malty. But this is really quite tasty. I really enjoy this one. I'm glad they ended with this one. I don't know if it would be. It's probably right near like the top 5 I think I had through the box. I still think the favorite one I had throughout the entire box is the Lakefront oatmeal, the bourbon barrel oatmeal stout. With actually, as the more I thought about this, not far behind it, I think would have been the Half Acre, the Winter IPA. That was so good. That was so tasty. Nice. I was actually disappointed. I went to the store today looking for other things. I looked for that and I didn't find it. This is really good. I really enjoy this. I think red ale is it's an underused style these days. It has a nice hoppiness to it with a little bit kind of like full body tasting and everything. I wish I would find more of them, but this is tasty. So
nice, good stuff. Yeah, Half Acre. I was at Three Cellars a couple days ago, and they had a couple things on the shelf from them. So I didn't see that one specifically, but they had a couple things. Well, awesome. Well done, Three Cellars. That is officially a wrap on the Three Cellars Advent Calendar for 2021. Pretty fun. Good stuff.
I would definitely recommend it for those who are looking for Advent calendars for next year. Definitely do it. And I think we said this in the beginning. I'll remind everyone, like, the way Three Cellars does is either you can allow them to pick the beers, which is what I did, and I really enjoyed that way, or you can pick the beers yourself, which I think is less fun because then you know it's coming, you know what's happening, all that. Just let them pick it. They clearly know what they're doing. They clearly do a good job. I think you and I were both surprised how good the beers were throughout. I think we were expecting like craft beers. I think we were expecting like the mainstays of craft beers. No, they really dug deep and they did a good job. So
I think part of the fun of an advent calendar like this is not knowing what you're getting.
Yeah.
It's one of the best parts.
And they switch up the styles. I mean, it would be really boring if I got like the same style over and over and over again. Like I'd be so bored so soon.
Right, which brings us directly into the Costco advent calendar, which is just full of the same beer over and over again. Quite frankly, I've been pretty disappointed with what I've gotten in the Costco advent calendar. You've all seen it. You've seen me go from really excited on day 1 to really not all that excited on day 22. Yesterday was a little bit better. I finally got that Hefeweiss that I've been looking for. So that was a nice add. We are now on the final beer. You'd think maybe there'd be something Christmas related. It's not Christmas related, but I'm actually pretty darn excited about this one. And I think, Ross, you would be too, because I am going to be drinking a Doppelbock Dunkel. Yes.
I think this is the first time where we have not been in the same room, and I've been very jealous.
Yes.
Very jealous.
This is by Kartauser. And it's a Doppelbock Dunkel, as I stated. Very German-inspired can. Looks very, very cool. This one actually comes in at the highest ABV of all of the beers thus far at 7.5%. So just a slight tick up over the 7.4 that I believe was on the Weizenbock. So yeah, a pretty big one to finish off the calendar. So it's a Doppelbock, so I'm expecting this to be a dark amber color coming out of the can. Let's get this thing open and see what we've got.
There it is.
There's that darker amber colored German beer. Still looks pretty clear coming directly out of the can, but looks pretty darn good. It looks pretty well filtered. We've got about a finger's worth of head on this, but nice and dark. Finally, a dark German beer. A couple little floaties in there. You can't really see that on the camera, but a couple little floaties in there. Let's bring it to the nose. Oh yeah. Definitely malty. There's actually a lot more hop character on the nose than I was expecting. There's hop bitterness happening here that I wasn't actually anticipating. But definitely a bright malty, almost like if you can give a scent a body, you can tell this is medium body just because of the malt character coming off of it. Let's give it a shot. Day 24. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah. The dark beers from Germany are where it's at, and this is damn good. It's really, really smooth. There's definitely carbonation on this, but it's definitely, obviously, compared to like the lagers and the pilsners and the other beers in this box, a little bit more viscous, a little bit thicker, medium, but a medium body on this. You definitely get like sweetness up front, and then you get the malt characters out the back end, and the maltiness kind of picks up. Actually, it starts off a little light, and then actually through the back end of the beer, and as you swallow it, you get a lot more of that malt character. Fantastic beer. Probably would slide this thing to my number 2 in the box. I still think the Weizenbock was the best beer. This is second. And I think that Hefeweiss I had yesterday was probably number 3. Probably number 4.
I'm glad they ended strong. I'm so happy because you got some good.
Me too. I still think it's weird that my box did not have some of the beers that I was seeing from some of the other people that had the same advent calendar. Like, I know for a fact that I missed a Dunkelweiss somewhere. Like, would have loved that. But this is good. This is darn good. I can't complain on day 24. It's Christmas Eve. I got a good beer out of the box. Would I do the Costco advent calendar again? No. I mean, there's just not enough variety. Like, if I want to drink a whole bunch of light Pilsners and Helles Lagers, I'll just go buy those. Like, it's, they need to add more variety to this. My recommendation to Costco would be, if you're going to do that, fine, have those beers in there, but separate them. Add a few more of these and have just a few more decent beers in between. Like, you can't have, 4 or 5 of those beers in a row and you're just waiting and hoping finally a week later a decent beer comes in. This is only the second dark beer in the whole calendar.
You and I are big German beer fans, which I think is what drew you towards the Costco one. Oh. And I was excited for you because I'm like, oh, you're going to get some Heffa, some Dunkel, some Bock, some Martin and everything. And there were so many, and like, just the endless Pilsner and Hells that they kind of kept coming out with. Like, and it's even more disappointing because, like, we saw what I was able to get through Three Cellars. We saw Lau with the brewing prize and the variety in the 13 beers that he got. I know another big popular one around here was the Mobcraft one. We saw all the variety Mobcraft was coming out with. It was underwhelming, I would say, throughout. It was entertaining for us watching you go through hell, pun intended.
It made for some fun videos. It made it a little bit entertaining. And quite frankly, the Costco Advent Calendar is probably the one that most people that might be watching this are going to be able to get their hands on, because the Three Cellars one's obviously local to here. Mobcraft is local to here, although they're going to be in Waterford soon. Exciting. And a few other places actually around the U.S. too, aren't they going to be in Colorado?
There's an opening one up in Denver, Colorado. They're partnering with the pizza. I think a taco place out there to do that. I think the other one is in northern Illinois. I just can't remember maybe Normal, Illinois? I forget. I can't remember.
Either way, it's probably the most accessible advent calendar that you can get out there. So I understand why people would, go pick that one up, because there's a Costco in most
everywhere
states, all over the place. So, again, none of the beers were really bad except for day 22, whatever that thing was not great. None of the beers were bad. They just weren't anything special. It was just a little bit dull and boring and got extremely repetitive. So, but it doesn't matter because we made it 24 days in a row. We have made this go, and it's been fun.
It's been a lot of fun.
So, Ross, Merry early Christmas to you. Happy Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas. Happy Christmas Eve. All that stuff.
Thank you. Happy Santa. We will be back with our regularly scheduled episodes, which haven't stopped while we've been doing this, but we will be back with more of those starting next week. So Ross and I have got a big recording day planned during the off season here. And it's going to be an interesting day, but you'll see some interesting content, I think, come from that recording day. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks for sticking through all 24 days of this Advent calendar with us. We appreciate it, and we'll see you in this series again next year.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Merry Christmas.